What's up, guys? It's Josh here. If you guys have not read or listened to the Urban Monk, then I urge you guys to do that as soon as you can, because it's really, really life-changing in a sense of what you do in your spare time. He covers everything from meditation to diet to exercise to breathing to social interactions, and and there's so much more in there. And he's a fantastic biologist, from what I understand. And we're kind of reading from the same page as to what I talk about with LiberSeed, where going back to how our biology was created thousands of years ago, how our bodies are designed to live. We're not designed to live where we're sitting on a couch, we're not designed to live where we're watching TV or interacting with friends and family over a text message. We're not designed to live a life where we're constantly consuming bakery products and breads and processed factory foods. So as I was listening to this book, the Urban Monk, it's really interesting to see kind of another person's perspective. He even goes into saying that if you're getting your meat from somewhere, you should be going and hunting it, and I think that's fantastic. I think that's practically impossible in the UK. I think in probably many of you guys in America, you're able to go and kind of experience that properly, doing shooting, doing archery and things like that. And I think that's an experience, and I think you learn what it means to be a human being at the point where you're producing your own food or you're catching your own food. So I think the Urban Monk really goes into what he calls it chi, because in that area of the world they call chi energy, and energy is your life force. And so if your life force is drained, and you're not thinking about why it's drained, and you're not thinking about why is my body not able to have high energy or high chi in the lifestyle that you're living, then you've probably got a problem. You're probably going to run into some deep ends and you're going to crash. So take a look at the Urban Monk and really gauge what it is that you can improve in your current life, because growing your own food is an easy start. Even if you've just got a balcony, you can grow some tomatoes, you can grow some herbs, and that can be life-changing in itself. Although small, you're not going to be producing all of your own food, but something's going to click in your mind, and you're going to understand, I buy a pack of tomatoes for £2 or $2, and I could be growing multiple packs for free, and that's a big difference. And turning off your phone, deleting social media or restrictive use of social media. Once you delete social media, or you just delete the apps, you're going to be sitting there and you're going to be thinking to yourself, what shall I do now? And you'll naturally think of things to do. It's interesting because when you watch like programs like similar shows like Big Brother or things like that, a lot of the time people get together and they end up doing exercise, or they end up learning how to meditate, or they just sit there and breathe in silence. And I think it takes that extended period of time without social media, without being glued to the screen, to really think about, or really just settle down and say, I'm just gonna sit here and listen and breathe. I think that has profound impacts on the person who does it, and it has profound impacts on the people who don't as well. So yeah, meditation is something that in the Western culture really doesn't really exist. We're kind of brought up and we're taught that you go to school, you get homework from school, you do your homework, and then if you got a little bit of time, then you can watch TV or you can play games. Going out is kind of out of the picture for most people, and so you're just packed constantly. And then you go to university, then you do all the party and stuff if you go to university. And then you go to work, and work is all consuming. And without the time, because you're consumed by work, you're probably stressed as well. I think a lot of people do what they call doom scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of the social media platforms. I think they do that because a couple of reasons. I think they don't know what to do with their time, and I think they're just stressed by work and they just want this like a release where the brain is just kind of monged out a bit. I think like everybody's experienced it. I've sat there scrolling on some social media platform many times in my life where I sit there and think afterwards, why have I just spent so much time doing that? Like there was no need. I didn't gain anything from it. I could have sat there and done breathing exercises and that would have been a lot more beneficial. I'd have probably reduced stress at that point. Really had deep thought. And then another thing is about social interactions is, if you get rid of your phone, how are people going to talk to you? And it's trying to force a situation where you can really be engaged with the people you're with, and then force a situation where it's more interesting to really try to go out and see people and do things. So I'm currently walking my dog. The thing that I've noticed is without my dogs, I probably wouldn't be going over the park and going the route that I walk my dogs morning and night. On these routes I see and I experience and socialize with what I call like the dog bubble. You got your work bubble. It's like all the people you work with. You got like maybe your football bubble and all your football friends. But you walk your dog, you see your dog walker bubble. You experience and you talk to them, and half the time it's just the casual conversation, but the other half of the time you can get to know some people, you can share some stories and experiences, and that interaction there, I think for the human body and the human soul is so much more profound. And the deeper experience that you get, I think for your psyche and for your body and your spirit, it's just healing almost, And so when the Urban Monk talks about chi, it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. But everything is the opposite of modern society. So everything that we're built, everything that the companies produce is all for profit. Everything that companies produce is all to sell you things and capture your attention. If you can't eat an infinite amount of things in a day or drink an infinite amount of things in a day, so what is it that you're spending your X amount of calories that you're consuming on? What are you deciding to eat? Is it nutritious food, or is it McDonald's or fish and chips or something very basic, or a wrap or a croissant from some retailer? So decide what you're going to do. The Urban Monk's a really good place to look at. I think we talk about the same stuff, and I'm more of a idealist of living off grid. I don't do it yet, but I believe when you kind of have your own piece of land and you can live off your land in a small community, then all of the things that the Urban Monk talks about is almost by nature what's going to happen. I think your chi is going to increase dramatically. I think you're not going to be stressed because you're working in jobs that you don't like and with people you don't like. You're going to be building up relationships, deep, meaningful relationships with people that you live near, and you're interdependent on each other for the basic survival, for production of food and water, and you're facing all the same problems. So it almost becomes like an extended family. I mean, how many people actually know their neighbour or have dinner with their neighbour? There's very few. I've spoken to thousands of people about it. So I think that's really important. If you live right next to somebody, then what's your interaction with them like? Because just simply when you cross paths, or you see each other go to the car in the morning to go to work, and your interaction is just hi or how are you, but it's an empty question of how are you. I think that interaction should be more in depth, more time consuming, better understanding of, you know, just like what friends do, like with your family. You don't just randomly say hi and get in your car and leave if it was your family, or one of your siblings or parents or something, or your cousin. So like a lot of people will end up moving away from their parents or moving away from their siblings or family, and people kind of say, yeah, you can choose your friends, you can't choose your family and so forth, but people naturally kind of try to step in roles that kind of are vacant as well. So like with respect to like living off grid, or where you are now, or where I am now, you know, you could be like, you see an older man and he naturally almost presumes a father figure. I don't know why that is. Add a comment if you know, if you understand something about that. I'd love to hear. Living off grid situation, or a small community like what I suggest at LiberSeed, it's kind of self-built that all your friends and family is almost like intertwined. And I think the more people that care about you deeply like that, the better. And work relationships are pretty poor. Everybody's so professional and everything's just about work. And if work's not happening, then you can't have that relationship. Then that's got to be detrimental at some point, and that's going to have serious consequences at some point. And I think that contributes massively to people feeling lonely, to people not being able to get off their phone, and their social media consumption is through the roof because, you know, they don't have deep, meaningful relationships with people where they can sit and have a conversation or invite them around for dinner. So they watch people on YouTube, or they watch people on Facebook, or they watch funny cat videos, or cute cat videos and funny dog videos. But hey, the Urban Monk, give it a read, it's fantastic. I'm not even all the way through it, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's reading off the same book that I am, but it's he's got a lot more biological knowledge than I have, and he expresses it from, I think he's from China, expresses it from that sort of perspective, and he's absolutely right. So listen, watch it, read it, whatever way that you consume, go and consume it.